to some of you all who had requested ki send the PPT earlier. I've already sent you the PPT yesterday.
Thank you, ma'am. That is really nice to see.
Welcome, Beta. So, on the same note, we go ahead. Yesterday, we had just started with the new chapter, that's the living world. And again, I'm repeating this because some of you all had left yesterday before I could complete these things. That is, this particular chapter, according to NCRT, is going to be the living world. And according to your government textbook, the name of this chapter is diversity in organisms. So, of course, we have to mix and match both the things. We cannot just put forward NCRT content or just we cannot put forward the GTP content. So, I have merged the two things together and will be progressing ahead. So, we go ahead with the living world chapter as of now. Start with my sharing. So, basically, yesterday we saw the two characteristics of living organisms. The one which we had discussed was something about the growth and reproduction, right? So this is just the introduction. Yesterday we couldn't, there was some issue that was going on that we couldn't, like actually go ahead with the PPT presentation wise. So we directly started with it, right? Anyway, so this is the first chapter. So accordingly, they have mentioned the meaning of biology. So bios means life and logy means study of. So biology is nothing, it's the study of life. Okay. Life can be defined as the property or quality of the living organisms that distinguish from the dead and non-living. And few functions that your syllabus is enlisted is growth, metabolism, response to stimuli, and reproduction. So as we go ahead, see the first one is growth, reproduction, metabolism, and response to stimuli. And when we talk about these in detail, yesterday we talked about the two types of growth, that is intrinsic growth and the extrinsic growth. So see, growth is an important characteristics of living organisms. Growth refers to increase in mass, number, volume, etc. Even non-living objects are going to grow in mass by accumulation of materials on its surface. So that's what we were discussing in yesterday's class. Anything that is going to be deposited from above will be your accumulation of non-living substances. So nothing can be, made from within. Nothing is going to be made from within, as in case of living organisms. So non-living organisms also grow, but they are going to grow by accumulations, by depositions, right? Growth in living being takes place due to internal process, that is cell division. Now, yesterday I asked you a question of whether nails and hair are intrinsic growth examples or extrinsic growth examples. Many of you all gave me a mixed type of version, and I told you that the cell which are going to be, or the follicles which are going to be present of the hair are going to be within, and the cell division is the reason for the growth of this hair and nails. So it's going to be taking place from within, है ना? So it's going to be your internal growth का example. The reason is this very reason, that is it's due to cell division. No one will come and, of course, nowadays you go get those artificial things in markets to just stick the artificial nails and make them grow, and like not make them grow, appear them to be grown and long. Those things are all artificial things, not naturally. So no one is going to stick hair from below to say that my hair growth has taken place. So these are going to be like cell division ke products basically. Then plants show continuous growth throughout their life. We know that you chop off one of the branches, within 6 months you can again see a branch, emerging out from the same position. So they are going to go continuous growth, and even animal shows growth up to a certain age, but the continuity is maintained with respect to cell repair, cell divisions. Those things are going to be progressed. Of course, as we age, the process of making is going to become lesser, and the process of breaking would be more. Of course, that's a part of metabolism which we'll be talking about eventually. Reproduction, as we again discussed in the yesterday's class, that all living beings are going to be, capable of, they're going to be reproducing basically. So all living beings produce their offsprings by the process of reproduction. It's an important process for the continuity, or we call it as a lineage of species. Lineage of species means to continue that species. Like for example, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs का lineage खत्म हो गया है. That means there is no specimen available from which new dinosaurs could be, born. So that lineage has to be continued. To continue that lineage, reproduction is the only medium. Okay. So we have already seen the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction in details in our reproduction in organisms chapter as well. So we know fungi are going to reproduce by asexual spores. If you have genuinely studied the reproduction in organisms chapter, you also know that these spores are called as conidiospores and sporangiospores. With the diagram, I had explained what are conidiospores and what are sporangiospores. So fungi reproduce basically by conidiospores or sporangiospores. Yeast and hydra, they reproduce by budding. Planaria, we all know planaria is the best example of regeneration. Unicellular organisms like bacteria, या फिर unicellular algae, फिर amoeba, they are going to have reproduction synonymous with growth. So yesterday I told you there is a word called as, that is going to be mutually inclusive. है So growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive. That is, they want to increase the number of cells by splitting, and because they're increasing the number, it's going to be growth as well. If you remember these things, then the same diagrams also we have, actually made a mention over here. I'm sorry. So here you can see something called as sporangiospores. Here you can very clearly see this is going to be your yeast, this is hydra, this is planaria, bacteria, okay, unicellular organism, this is bacteria, fine. So these are the different asexual methods of reproduction that has been discussed on this particular slide especially. Then in the same way, of course, reproduction by sexual method is nothing but the fusion of gametes, which we already are aware of, right? The third characteristic that we are going to talk today, the third characteristic that we're going to talk today is something called as metabolism. Now, since we have already completed the chapter of respiration, it will become very easy for you all to understand this particular fact now, but still, all living organisms are made up of chemicals belonging to various classes. Yes. So what happens is, our each and every individual cell, is a factory on its own. Okay, what do you mean by a factory on its own? It's capable of manufacturing something या फिर degrading something on its own. तो हर एक सेल का ना अपने आप में है ना breakdown and synthesis, ये दोनों चीजें continuously हो रही है. It's a simultaneous thing that is going on. Okay, so what needs to be broken down? Something which is complex needs to be broken down. And what is to be biosynthesized? क्या biosynthesize करना है, क्या form करना है? So whatever the cell requires, everything has to be synthesized from the raw material. So what happens? We're going to have something complex which will be broken down, as we have already seen of the example of in respiration. We have seen glucose is broken down to pyruvic acid via glycolysis, right? And this pyruvic acid has got two possibilities. If it gets aerobic condition, that pyruvic acid will then get moving ahead with the conversion into acetyl CoA, and from acetyl CoA it will further get into the Krebs cycle to give byproducts like CO2, NADH2 and FADH2, right? Again, that NADH2 and FADH2 will enter the ETS cycle and they'll yield us ATP, correct? So that is that glucose has ultimately given us energy, is what we have learned in detail of the respiration chapter. So it's a very systematic stepwise breakdown of complex food material into simple. Okay, एंड सिंपल से भी आगे जाके हमने उसके कंपोनेंट्स तक पहुंच गए इन एरोबिक कंडीशन वाला phenomena. If it's going to get anaerobic, so what are the two products that it will be forming? Come on, tell me. If pyruvic acid enters anaerobic pathway, what are the two possibilities? Who can tell me? Come on, I want the
Lactic
answer.
acid and ethanol.
Lactic acid and
Ethanol.
very nice. So lactic acid and ethanol are the products which are going to be, produced in case of anaerobic respiration. है ना? So we already know about it that aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration say uh, what are the products that we want to get, right? So that is the same thing that they want to mention over here. So let us understand, see. So these chemicals within a living organism are constantly being made and changed into some or the other biomolecules. Now, this is the most important word. There is an entire chapter devoted on this particular word, that is biomolecules. Now, what do you mean by these biomolecules? So basically, the biomolecules will be made up of first carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids. Okay, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids. These four are predominantly going to be discussed in the chapter of biomolecules. We have already discussed about the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will get broken down. If they are complex carbohydrates, they'll be first, brought down into a simpler form, that is glucose. And from glucose to energy, that is the pathway which we have actually studied. Similarly, there will be, like breakdown of proteins to form amino acids, and from amino acids, different type of structural proteins or functional proteins or hormones or enzymes will be synthesized, right? Then there is lipids. Lipids will be broken down into again two components, that is fatty acids and glycerol. And what are derived lipids? What are compound lipids? What are simple lipids? In detail, you will be doing this in your biomolecules chapter. Then when we talk about nucleic acids are only two, DNA and RNA. So these all, components make up your biomolecules. So what are they saying? See, the chemicals within a living organism are constantly changed, and they are, changed into some or the other biomolecules. So for this understanding, you should know amphibolic pathway. So what we had seen, like fatty acids will enter the Krebs cycle via. Come on, can anyone tell me the intermediate by which the fatty acids will enter into the Krebs cycle? Who would tell me this in the amphibolic pathway which I had explained?
DAP.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, what is it? Is it DAP or is it acetyl
DAP.
CoA? Very good, Sneha Singh. Very good, my dear. I want answers. Come on. Very good. It's nice. Who else would like to answer this? हमने क्या बनाया था एम्फीबॉलिक पाथवे में fats, carbohydrates and proteins. Carbohydrates, so we had directly made the glycolysis wala thing, then acetyl CoA into the Krebs cycle. That is what we had made. And from fats, we had done fatty acid and glycerol. And fatty acid was entering into the cycle via dash, and glycerol was entering into the Krebs cycle via dash. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Give me answers. सबका गुड मॉर्निंग हुआ है कि नहीं, कि आधे नींद में बैठे हो? चलिए फटाफट आंसर दीजिए बेटा. Komal, I want an answer, not a question mark. You're giving me an answer, but it is right or wrong. You're asking me. I want a confident answer. Come on. Sneha Singh has given me the right answer.
Ma'am, actually, I know the answer. I think it's right, but I don't know if you think it's right.
It's not me who is thinking or not thinking. It's a fact.
No, because I have studied and you're teaching me for many years, so you know confidently the answer is right. But I'm learning, right? So if you tell me the answer is right, I'll be more confident.
You'll be more confident. Okay, then you're right. Okay, fine. Yeah. And what is the glycerol is going to enter through what? Glycerol will get converted into what I told you during your higher studies. Will be having this metabolic pathways for 11th 12th standard. You have got only carbohydrates. आगे जाके तुम्हें proteins और फैट्स का भी मेटाबॉलिज्म सीखना है, देखना है। तो आई वांट टू नो ग्लिसरॉल कहाँ से एंटर होता है, कौन से इंटरमीडिएट के थ्रू एंटर होता है, प्रोटीन्स कौन से इंटरमीडिएट के थ्रू एंटर होते हैं। या यू ऑल आर राइट बेटा, स्नेहा शर्मा, then David James, yes Komal, you are right. ओके सो प्लीज प्लीज जो हम लोग मतलब चैप्टर्स कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं ना, उनको ऐसे मस्त बुक में रख के अपने पिलो के नीचे रख के सोने से वो एंटर नहीं होने वाला है दिमाग में. यू नीड टू स्टडी, यू नीड टू रिवाइज. इफ आई स्टार्ट टेकिंग सरप्राइज टेस्ट देन व्हाट विल हैपन. हाँ, मैं एकदम से एक दिन अगर डिक्लेयर करूँ कि आज लेक्चर नहीं, आज वाइवा होने वाला है, तो क्या करेंगे फिर. ऐसे मैं करती हूँ. हाँ, I do this. I've got a practice of doing this. If I feel you all are not studying the way I want to, then I'll start with this practice immediately. You know, one fine day I'll call you all for a lecture and I'll just say today no lecture, today I'm going to take Viva with you all of so and so chapter. I won't even tell you all which chapter का Viva लेने वाली हूँ मैं. और जो मीटिंग छोड़ के जाएंगे उनके पेरेंट टीचर्स मीटिंग के लिए उनके पेरेंट्स को आना पड़ेगा, फिर जूम पे आना पड़ेगा, लेकिन आना तो पड़ेगा. अगर ऐसे नहीं करेंगे तो हाउ यू विल स्टडी अदरवाइज. So this is not the way. I want answers from all of you all. हाँ, this is like अगर अपना कुछ complete हो रहा है तो it is not just for the sake of completion, my dears. I want you all to be thorough with it, perfectly thorough with whatever we are doing. Because आज नहीं समझेगा बेटा, today you will feel हाँ एक ही chapter है, दो ही chapter है, कर लेंगे बाद में, इतना क्या है, देख लेंगे बाद में. It will pile up. And once it starts piling up, there is no other option but to take a drop for your need and appear one, you know, like get one more chance next year. तो 3 साल बर्बाद मत करो बेटा प्लीज. आज ये नहीं समझ में आएगा, आज लगेगा इतना ही है, कल करेंगे, परसों करेंगे, बाद में करेंगे, अभी करेंगे. नो प्लीज, I want complete thoroughness in whatever chapters we have done till today. Complete thoroughness. And when I say we have done, means me as well as Mithun sir. I can take a vibe on his syllabus as well. So I generally do that. I generally do that. So please don't compel me. Please don't force me to go ahead with such type of things with your batch. Your batch is really good. You know, like we as your teachers, we had a meeting few days before and we were discussing the same, that this year's students, even being online, they are very responsive, and I was very happy with this batch. Rather, I'm very happy with this batch. Whenever I ask you some questions, you all are ready with your answers. So I want that particular thing in you. Otherwise, I need to take these type of steps. Surprise viva, surprise test. I'll go ahead with it. Okay. So please be alert whatever we have done, because every chapter of bio is interconnected. There is no chapter which is not connected with each other. Everywhere you will see this. Fine. Yeah, proteins to amino acids, then to pyruvic acid. Yeah, very good, David James. You're right, beta. बिल्कुल सही है, बिल्कुल सही है. Anyways, so next time onwards, I'm expecting good answers from all of you all. Okay. Well, so here we can see that metabolism is divided into two parts: anabolism and catabolism. And non-living objects, no non-living object is going to exhibit metabolism. So if this sentence is there that no non-living object is going to show metabolism, can we consider metabolism as a defining property of living organisms? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good,
Still.
very good. Yeah, of course. So we saw that growth and reproduction weren't the defining properties of all the living organisms, but metabolism is a defining property of living organisms. There are ifs and buts to it, which I'll be discussing it eventually. Look over here. The catabolism is energy yielding metabolism. Any energy source could be there. Okay, it will be broken down into heat and into utilizable energy. Utilizable energy means ATP. Here you can see ATP formation. Okay, it will give some metabolic products like CO2, H2O, like as a byproduct, we would say. And then when we look over here, this is anabolism. So this generated ATP is going to be used up for biosynthesis. So anabolism is nothing but biosynthetic metabolism. So ATP will be used up in formation of biopolymers. Okay, from where? From your, like external nutrients, intracellular precursors. Intracellular precursors are those which are going to be synthesized within our cells, which act as catalysts, which act as process enhancers, I would say, which are going to be your precursors. Some intermediates will be produced. We have seen so many intermediates in Krebs cycle and glycolysis especially, and these will be ultimately used. This all processes will use ATP for the synthesis of biopolymers. Biopolymers like what? So this ATP will be used in making of, say for example, a structural protein keratin, right? Or maybe it would be used in a formation of microtubules, or it will be used in the production of microfilaments. We have done this now in cell unit of life. So microtubules, they are proteinaceous in nature, as we say. So microtubules are made up of 13. One microtubule is made up of 13 protofilaments of protein, right? That is the protein called as tubulin. Now this tubulin has to be synthesized. From where will it get synthesized? It will get synthesized from the raw materials of amino acids. So where whatever proteins we are going to consume will be broken down by the anabolic product, anabolic pathway. Whatever products have been now, produced will be used as a raw material for the biosynthesis. That is your biopolymers. Even your cholesterol, which is good cholesterol required for the absorption of vitamin D, especially, is also going to be product produced in our cells. Okay, so that is for your anabolic pathway. Look at the substrates. The carbohydrates are broken down to glucose, fats to fatty acids and glycerols, and proteins into amino acids. Right? So, of course, these things are already known to you all, but still, as a chapter, we should know it. Now, as I said just now, that metabolism is going to be your a defining property of living organisms, right? Now, there is something called as uh, a cell-free medium. Have you all heard about this? A cell-free medium. No cells are there inside it. No bacterial cell, no yeast cell, no cells at all. Have you all heard about it? And still, if there is no cells present, in spite of that, we can manufacture the products of the cell. अब ये थोड़ा सा समझना है बेटा, इसको है ना इन विट्रो प्रोडक्शन कहते हैं, INVITRO, इन विट्रो. ओके, अब ये इन विट्रो एंड इन वीवो क्या है? वीवो अपना मोबाइल फोन कंपनी की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ मैं सुबह सुबह, है ना. इन मीन्स लिविंग सेल्स. या बोलो.
In one of the bats or dats, this Vivo and Vitro wala question had come.
Yeah, that's
now
what.
I understand where did the question come from. Here it came from.
Yeah. So vivo का मतलब होता है living. Okay, in a living cell, that is in vivo, and in vitro, VITRO. Okay, वैसे इटालिक्स में लिखते हैं हम लोग, ऐसे इटालिक फॉन्ट में लिखते हैं. इन विट्रो का मतलब होता है इन ग्लासवेयर, इन अ लैब. ओके, तो लैब में आपने कभी सुना है कि कोई एंजाइम्स प्रोड्यूस हुए हैं, कुछ हार्मोन्स प्रोड्यूस किए गए हैं? सुना है आपने?
Yes, ma'am. They are even injected for various reasons when the body is not able to make it or something.
Very good. Yes. So, especially you might have heard about insulin production as
yes,
medicine.
Ma'am.
Yeah. But many hormones are also going to be synthesized. Many enzymes are also going to be synthesized. Now, when you're going to synthesize them, whenever we are going to synthesize them, it's not necessary that always they are going to be, you know, uh, synthesized from a living organism. But the products can be still manufactured in a glassware. So if the metabolic products are going to be synthesized in the glassware, in that case, metabolism is not going to be your defining property of living organisms. So be careful with the wordings. What do they do is in the examinations, they just change the wording. So what are the wordings? I'll tell you. I mean, these are the type of questions which have been asked in your previous year's papers. What are the wordings? The wordings are metabolism is the defining property of all the living organisms. This statement is a correct statement. Metabolism is the defining property of all the living organisms. This statement, if they tell, it's the right statement, it's the correct statement. If they make this sentence getting converted into something like this, the metabolism is a defining property of all the living cells. Now they are not using the word living organisms, they are using the word living cells. Even this becomes the right statement. Even this becomes the right statement. Living cells are also going to undergo, rather, in fact, living cells only undergo metabolism. Okay. Now, third statement. Third statement is the metabolic reactions taking place in vivo. Metabolic reactions taking place in vivo are defining properties of living organisms. Okay. Now they are using the word in vivo. In vivo का मतलब क्या हो गया? In living cells. Correct?
But this is correct.
This is also correct. That's what I'm saying. The way they are going to turn and twist the questions.
In vitro आ गया मतलब not correct.
Exactly. तो अभी अगर fourth statement आ जाता है that the metabolic reactions taking place in vitro are the defining properties of living organisms. It's a wrong statement. It's an incorrect statement. In vitro का मतलब होता है in a glassware. Or if they say the metabolic reactions taking place in a cell-free medium. Metabolic reactions taking place in a cell-free medium is the defining property of living organisms. Again, it's going to be a wrong statement. So please be careful with the words like in vitro, cell-free medium. Okay, ये थोड़ा सा समझने की कोशिश कीजिएगा. Then there is one more statement, that is the metabolic reactions are actually the underlying reactions taking place within the two group of cells. Underlying. So metabolism is actually an underlying interaction between the different cells. That means what do you mean by this? Underlying का मतलब क्या होता है कि हमें लगता है ये काम मैं कर रही हूँ. See, I feel I am doing this. You will feel you are doing this. आप लोग मुझे क्या बोलोगे? मैम मैंने इतना पढ़ाई किया, मैं इतना घंटा पढ़ाई करती हूँ, मैं इतना घंटा पढ़ाई करता हूँ, मैंने ये खाया, मैंने वो खाया, मैं इधर गया, मैं उधर गई, मैंने whatever. Okay. Actually, are you going to do anything? क्या हम कुछ करते हैं? We don't do anything. Whatever is done is because of the energy that is going to be produced in our body that the work is done. So firstly, we don't do anything. Fine. So to say that I am doing something is a very wrong statement in itself. We don't do anything. Whatever is done is just because of the energy that is being produced in our body. अगर energy हमारे body में बनी नहीं तो हम कुछ नहीं कर पाते. See, if you fall sick for 2 days, if you fall sick for 2 days, for the next 5-6 days, है ना, you will not have that much of capacity to do work that you were doing when you were normal. थोड़ा सा,
You
ज्यादा
feel
भी कुछ
fatigued.
नहीं. No, हाँ, ज्यादा भी कुछ नहीं यार, hardly anything. मतलब just for a day or two you are not having, like some or the other issues. For next 4-5 days you are not going to have that much of capacity to do the same things that you were doing 2 days before. So what are we? We are nothing. We are just a product of the energies that are being, made in our body. Correct? Who is going to make the energy? Energy बनाने वाला कौन है? Cells है.
Ourselves.
है ना? तो अल्टीमेटली ना हम कुछ कर रहे हैं ना एनर्जी कुछ कर रही है. एक्चुअली कौन कर रहा है? सेल्स कर रहे हैं. लेकिन सेल्स को फंक्शन करने के लिए भी तो एनर्जी चाहिए ना, राइट? इवन फॉर द सेल्स टू अंडरगो मेटाबॉलिज्म, इवन दैट रिक्वायर्स एनर्जी, राइट? Agreed. So ultimately, everything comes and stops on energy, no doubt, of course. But still, the cells are the ones who are going to actually make this energy, right? Now, when we say the cells are going to make the energy, from where the cells are going to make the energy? From whatever food that we are going to eat, है ना? उसका breakdown होने वाला है. तो मेरा कहने का मतलब क्या है? What I want to tell you all, what I want to convey is the cells are the basic units of, or the fundamental units for all these particular activities. So cells are undergoing the reactions, and unless and until the products that the cells are going to be made, जो भी cells जो products बना रहे हैं, if they don't interact, then our functionality is at stake. We are not functional then. For example, where is insulin going to be produced? Insulin कहाँ produce होता है? Come on, बताइएगा.
Beta cells of pancreas.
Yes, very good. Beta cells of Langerhans and the pancreas. अब beta cells are specifically उनकी जो factory है, वो क्या manufacture करने में लगी है? Beta cells की factory manufacture करती है insulin. ठीक है. अब insulin क्या सिर्फ और सिर्फ beta cells ही use करते हैं? Is it like that way that only beta cells are going to make and use that particular insulin there and then? Never. It's of no use to them. Rather, that product has to be shifted, transported to some other areas for its functionality. समझ में आ रही है बात? Are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understanding this?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
unless and until they don't interact, unless and until different groups of cells don't interact, how will they have this exchange offer? So metabolic reactions are basically what? They are the exchange offers of what? Of the products that are produced by one group of cell with another group of cells and vice versa. तो ये है ना, पूरा ट्रैफिक चलता रहता है अपने बॉडी में. इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ वेरी सिस्टमैटिक ट्रैफिक दैट इज मूविंग इन आवर बॉडी. और अगर कहीं ट्रैफिक जैम हो गया या फिर कहीं एक्सीडेंट हो गया अंदर के अंदर ही, तो क्या हो जाएगा? अ डिजास्टर. हमारी तबीयत बिगड़ गई, हमारा रूटीन खराब हो गया, है ना? So what is to be taken care of is smooth traffic movement in our entire system. Okay, and that is ensured by these metabolic reactions, which are actually the underlying reactions between the different group of cells in our body. Is it fine? Have you all understood the meaning of this word underlying interactions? It's a very important word, especially those who are heading for NEET. This is for you all. It's a sentence given in your NCERT textbook, and I want all of you all to understand the meaning of it. Okay? Anyway, so that is about your metabolism. And of course, it's a defining property of all living organisms unless and until it is taking place in vivo. Okay?
In vitro.
Hey, living is in vivo. लिविंग का मतलब होता है लिविंग सेल,
In
मतलब
vitro.
vivo. Glassware is in vitro. Don't get confused.
Ma'am, I thought you said unless and until it's not taking place in vivo.
It is taking.
Sorry, ma'am.
The last is response to stimuli. That is what we call it as consciousness. Okay, we call it as consciousness. So what do you mean by response to stimuli? कुछ नहीं, अभी तो मैं ऑनलाइन लेक्चर ले रही हूँ. अगर फिजिकल लेक्चर लेती थी तो कुछ नहीं करती थी, बस एक सिरिंज लेके आती थी, आगे एक निडल रखती थी, और जो आंसर नहीं देगा उसको, है ना, सोच के भी ऐसे हो रहा है कि
Majja.
नहीं, सोच के भी
Physical
ऐसे हो रहे हैं ना, ऐसे
practicals.
करके. हाँ, तो और कुछ नहीं करना होता है इसमें, या फिर सीरीज वीरीज आने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. टिकलिंग इज मोर देन इनफ, है ना.
Yes, ma'am.
किसी किसी को मतलब यू नो सम पीपल डू लाइक यू जस्ट डोंट टच देम आल्सो एंड जस्ट डू लाइक यू नो द एक्शन ऑफ टिकलिंग एंड असर हो जाता है उनपे. ऐसे भी लोग होते हैं. तो that is also one of the stimuli that we can easily come to know. Anyways, so this is going to be again a defining property of all living organisms only. अगर आपने मैगी बनाया है घर पे, गर्मा गर्म मैगी बनाया है, तुम लोग सब खाते हो, मुझे पता है. ओके, योर जनरेशन, आई नो यू ऑल लव ऑल दोज पर्टिकुलर थिंग्स. आपने गर्मा गर्म, और वो आपको आता भी है बनाने के लिए. हाँ, ये भी एक बड़ी चीज है कि आज मैंने मैगी बनाया, यू नो. मैगी बनाते हो, बहुत गर्म रहता है वो पॉट, एंड यू गेट एंड यू प्लेस इट ऑन योर टेबल, एंड विल द टेबल स्क्रीम that stupid, it's so hot, don't place it on me? Is it going to happen like that way? Obviously not. So that's the main difference, that it's the defining property of all living organisms. If by mistake you touch with your own hand, you know that it is very hot, and by mistake you touch the pot, response to stimuli immediately हो जाएगा, है ना? So of course, response to stimulus is a very much defining property of all the living organisms. Okay. Now, living organisms respond to their surrounding or environment. Respond to environmental stimuli could be physical, chemical, or biological. Yes, it could be any of them. So, under physical responses, just now, or physical stimuli, I told you all just now that whatever is something hits you, something pricks you, you touch something very hot, immediately you're going to withdraw your hand in all these actions. So obviously it's going to be your physical stimuli. Can anyone tell me a chemical stimuli or a biological stimuli? An example of chemical or biological. Can anyone tell me? Chalo batao, try karo. What would be a chemical stimulus?
If we water plants and plants use that water and all, even they use light from sunlight, they're actually doing photosynthesis, so that's chemical stimuli, right?
Yeah, correct. Very good. Yeah, very good, Himanshu. Very good, beta. Touch me not plant. Yeah, that is your mimosa pudica plant. Touch me not. You touch it, and immediately it will,
Lovely.
Lajwanti.
yes. In Marathi we call it as Lajvanti. Very nice, correct. छुई मुई plant कहते हैं, लाजवंती कहते हैं. Very good. So that is the one, like always, you just try to touch it. It's going to, close itself or bring itself towards inner ways. Yeah. So that is also a chemical response, no doubt. And biological response is going to be what, my dear? Biological response will be something related to an example of biological. Very good, Sneha. Very good. Very good, Sneha Sharma. Yes. She's saying Venus trap fly. It's a
Yes,
biological
ma'am.
response.
Huh, okay, like that.
Yeah.
First
So
one I
the
didn't
plant
understand
is,
only.
having a deficiency with nitrogen. So to fulfill the nitrogen deficiency, they trap the flies and they fulfill their nitrogen deficiency. So very nice, Neha. It's your very good answer, perfect answer. Okay. So the responses could be any. It could be physical, it could be chemical, or it could be biological, right? Even in us also, we sometimes get the chemical stimuli. Na? You don't feel like eating something, you feel nauseatic, you feel, like vomiting wala effect aa jata hai kabhi kabhi. So that is internally एक stimulus मिलता रहता है हमें कि भाई कुछ नहीं खाना है. You don't feel like
Ma'am,
eating, you don't feel like drinking anything. Yeah.
even when we see something very nice that we love to eat and
You
our
start
mouth
salivating.
starts watering,
Yeah, you start salivating. Exactly. Even the smell of it, not
yeah,
even see,
lovely.
even the smell of it. And if
Even
you're
the
actually,
thinking of it.
yeah, and even if you don't, you're not actually hungry, but yet you love that so much and you get the smell of it now, you start salivating. Yes. Okay. Anyway, so just like human beings, even plants are going to respond to certain factors. So see, plants respond to external factors like light, water, temperature, other organisms, pollutants, etc. They also react, don't they? When light and water and temperature would be in the right optimum conditions, the amount of photosynthesis will be very good. If other organisms are going to come near them, then they have got adaptations to form thorns and all to prevent themselves from getting eaten away by the browsing animals. Certain pollutants, they withdraw their nutrients when they get exposed to certain pollutants, etc. Organisms can sense and respond to environmental cues. So, whatever cues are going to be given by the environment, immediately the organisms can sense it. I don't know if you have seen this or no, but during the evening time, when it becomes a bit darker, all the birds would return to their own
Yes,
nest,
ma'am.
and there'll be a
That's very beautiful
continuous,
phenomena.
yeah, there'll be a continuous chirping sound throughout that half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, when they are calling each other to come back to their own houses. So that is one of the environmental cues. Even like when there is going to be, something like first rainfall and all, you might have heard about the frogs croaking. So these all are
Even
environmental
when
cues.
mango season, cuckoos and all.
Yeah, they are
We
going to
understand the
be
mangoes are ripened now.
ripened. Yeah. So these all are your environmental cues. Okay. Then photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plants and animals. Photoperiod. Now, what do you mean by photo? Photo means light. Period means time. So there are certain plants and certain animals which are dependent on the exposure of sunlight for their breeding purposes. So we have got something called as plants which give us flowers and fruits during summer. So summer में जो fruits आते हैं, those fruits are going to be what beta? They want a longer time of sunlight exposure. That is a longer photo period. We get seasonal fruits in winters. So winters may the time of exposure of sunlight should be lesser. Correct? So they'll only flower or they'll only make fruits when they get sunlight lesser for a lesser time period. Okay, so that affects their breeding season. So you don't get you know strawberries and especially the winter fruits are strawberries, cherries, plums. You will not get it during the summers, and summer ka king you will not get it during winter, right? So the main reason is this photo period. So photo means light, period means time. So the time for the exposure of the sunlight will alter the uh, breeding
Ma'am,
mechanism of certain plants and also animals. Yeah.
ma'am, what about those flowers and like those typical plants which we hear that they have flowered one like after 12 years
Hmm.
these flowers actually bloom and all. Don't have any photo period or something like that.
They have got something called as for the accumulation of uh, the chemicals that are required for flowering, they'll take 12 years. Just for the accumulation will take 12 years. Only then they can flower. Hibiscus, if you see, hibiscus is your China rose. If you look at hibiscus or China rose, it will flower every day. Every day you will see flowers of hibiscus coming on the tree plant forever. So the time period taken by them to accumulate the chemicals for flowering is hardly 24 hours. But there are plants will take 50 years also and 100 years also. For example, Bambusa tulda that we have studied in reproduction in organisms. Yeah, but we had studied this apna Neela Kurinji, which will take 12 years for flowering. है ना?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they take almost 12 years for the accumulation of the chemicals that are required for flowering. So every species has got its own different spectrum of flowering. So these all come under your seasonal breeders. Okay, that नीला
Ma'am,
कुरंजी का scientific नाम किसी को याद है? What is the scientific name of नीला कुरंजी?
Probilanthus contiana.
Very good, very good. Strobilanthus contiana. Very nice, beta. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so that's about the plants.
ma'am,
Even, हाँ बोलो.
responsive stimuli like for plants, I had heard this and I'd seen this video that when we put very soft music, like really soft music, plants wave on that music. Like, is that also a response to stimuli?
It's also
Like those
response to stimuli.
vibrations?
Yes, it's all everything is response to stimuli only. All the living world is based on response to stimuli. Okay, if there is
Okay,
no
ma'am.
response to stimuli, na, it's difficult for survival altogether. Okay, so just try doing this. You want to say yes, and you say yes. Is it possible? It becomes very difficult. You say yes. You know this is no, but you want to say yes and try doing the contradictory actions. It's difficult, right? So that's what like just saying and doing also is response to stimulus. Okay. If I were to say yes, automatically my head will nod like this way. So again, it's internally also it's going to be connected with your actions. Even in animals, this type of photoperiods are affected. Like some are breeders, uh, they breed generally during the dusk or dawn. Okay, dusk or dawn. I hope you know. Dusk means what and dawn means what. Okay, so during the wee hours, early hours or late hours of evening, that is the breeding time for them. Fine. So that all is dependent on the photoperiods. Organisms handle chemicals entering their bodies and are aware of their surroundings, of course. So we all know, like even the cats and the dogs also, they'll first smell, they'll sniff whatever they're going to put in their mouth first. They'll not directly put everything in their mouth the way, like whenever. They'll first sniff it. They'll first sniff it. They'll take the smell of it. Okay. Why crows would never sniff something and they'll eat even the rats? You've seen crows eat even the rotten rats. Why crows are not choosy? Why crows eat anything and everything? Can anyone explain this to me? So we are saying that we are aware of the surroundings and will not. Very good, Parnavi. Very nice. Very nice. Who else would answer this question? Why crows can eat the rotten things also, including the rotten this apna rats also. They are inborn scavengers. What makes them to be scavengers? They are inborn scavengers, but what makes them to be scavengers? What is such a quality in them that they don't mind eating the rotten? Very nice, Ravani. Very nice, beta. Yes, yes. So you know what, beta? These birds, they have got, you know, the olfactory lobes which are not very well developed. And olfactory lobes means smells. Okay, they cannot smell very nicely because their organs for smell are not developed to the extent of ours. And especially crow का जो olfaction है वो तो negligible है, उसको कुछ smell आता ही नहीं है. So it doesn't mind consuming, that otherwise you walk around a dead rat, you will, like feel like puking. It's so bad a smell. But that doesn't go with the birds. Birds का olfaction बहुत poor होता है. They are poorly developed. Okay, and therefore they are going to have no problem with eating anything and everything that they get along their way. Fine. Yes, yes. So that is the reason basically. But otherwise, we all are generally the first thing that we do is we try to smell whatever we want to eat it. You know? Human beings are the only organisms which has got self-consciousness, a very important sentence, much important sentence. That is self-conscious. Are you all self-conscious about yourselves? है अपने आप में कुछ self consciousness होता है कि नहीं?
Ma'am, I guess at our age, self-consciousness is to the peak.
Exactly. Your age is at the peak. Exactly. Highest होता है आपके एज में. मतलब इतने ज्यादा सेल्फ कॉन्शियस होते हो ना तुम लोग. अरे आजकल तुम लोग तो छोड़ो. You all are still, like, okay, I mean, your age is like, you understand certain things now. But my neighbor, I've got a neighbor, and her daughter is, say, 6 years old. How much? Only 6 years old, huh? इतनी छोटी सी है. That day she had come to my house. But she comes to my house sometimes. She is my neighbor. She comes to my house sometimes for no reason also. Hello auntie, how are you करने के लिए आ जाती है वो. बहुत बट करती है तो I like small kids a lot. वो आती है कभी कभी. So like that day I offered her. I had made some pastries. कुछ बनाए थे मैंने. So I offered her one chocolate वाला pastry. Okay. अब छोटे बच्चे हैं तो छोटे बच्चों को पेस्ट्रीज चॉकलेट्स ये सब चीजें बहुत पसंद होती है या नहीं. तो I gave her two. I expected that she'll have those. 6 years old girl. She's not fat also. She's actually very thin and like very beautiful. Cutie pie है वो एकदम से अपनी. And she's telling me, "Mama, I don't want this." I said, why? No, if I eat this now, I'll put on weight. I said, oh my God, at the age of 6, she's so concerned, she's so self-conscious about herself. I asked her mom. Her mom is saying, ki, Arey, even like every day she eats only this much of food items. If by mistake I give her half roti also extra, na, then she will tell, don't give me, mama, I'll put on weight. So look at the level of self-consciousness that is being coming nowadays Not only at your age, but at the age of 6 also, now the kids are so concerned about themselves. है ना?
Ma'am,
This is, yeah, this is really,
actually at their age, growth is like growth is at the peak, like the 6 7 years and all. They need so much of nutrients, and at this age only they start doing such kind of
see,
things,
that's
then the
what,
growth will be stunted. Like
they are
it
so
won't
much
happen
conscious,
nicely.
so much conscious. I was really surprised. I mean, really, I was surprised with her answer and the way she
I
was.
guess she should enjoy her childhood.
Exactly, exactly. But I don't know now what is the thing that is going on everywhere. I really don't know. Arey, forget about that. Forget about the putting on weight or losing on weight. It's a, like your own way. But just tell me one thing. Just tell me one thing. Have you ever, I don't wish you do that, but if you have you ever slipped from a banana skin? कभी slip हुए हो banana skin से कभी? I
Yes,
hope
ma'am.
नहीं.
Once
आई
हुआ
होप
था
तुम लोग
मेरे साथ.
नहीं, आई होप तुम लोग कभी नहीं हुए हो, या फिर ऐसा
मेरा
थोड़ा सा
हुआ था.
ऐसा गड्ढा आ जाता है चलते चलते, तो गड्ढे में पैर अटक के कभी गिरते हैं लोग, कभी कभी बनाना स्किन के ऊपर से फिसल के गिरते हैं लोग.
I आएगी.
हाँ हाँ,
Please
उसके
do
ऊपर
not.
से भी स्लिप ऑफ होते हैं हम लोग, एग्जैक्टली. बट बेटा क्या होता है ना, व्हेन यू हैव actually had a fall like this way only once in your lifetime, kabhi kabhar, even after 10 years you go on that road, now first you will check if there is the same thing still there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I still do.
Exactly. So that is that self consciousness, that you know about yourself. Okay, you're aware about the surroundings with respect to yourself, है ना? So that is the speciality of only human beings. So look at that. Human being is the only organism which has got self consciousness. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, what's your saying, beta? You're a foodie, you will never refuse food no matter what. Now even I'm like that way. Even I'm like that. Even I don't eat too much, but whatever I like, I eat. Not too much, but I eat in proportions. Anyways, so what I was talking about is, like human beings की ये speciality होती है. Have you seen pigeons? I don't know if you have seen pigeons. देखे हैं कभी pigeons को? Pigeons का एक speciality है. क्या speciality है पता है आपको?
They sit in the
अगर
middle
अपना
of the
window
road.
नहीं, अगर अपना window closed है ना, they'll come, they will hit it. Huh? They will hit on the window. They'll go back. Next moment again they'll come to get hit by the same window at the same place. कभी देखा है आपने ये? ऐसे कहा जाता है कि the lowest IQ is of pigeon. ऐसे कहा जाता है. Yeah, they think it is another one. They don't realize only that they are going to get, they already have got hurt. देखो अगर हमें कुछ लगता है, हाथ को लगता है, चलते चलते कुछ लगता है, तो we are not stupid to do the same act again ना. Will think over it, right? कि अरे यार इधर लग रहा है मुझे. Even a small kid, 2 साल का बच्चा अगर just toddling कर रहा है, चलने को start कर रहा है, और अगर वो किधर जाके उसको लग रहा है, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम उससे घबरा के उधर से बाजू से निकल जाएगा. उतना होता है ह्यूमन बींग्स में. पिजन्स को कभी भी देखिए, दे आर सो फुलिश ना. दे विल कम, दे विल हिट द विंडो पेन, they get hurt, they go back again, the next minute they come and do the same act. It's so foolish. It's because, you know there is no self consciousness in them. There is no self consciousness. You look at the stray dogs. Look at them. स्ट्रे डॉग्स जो होते हैं ना, आप चल रहे हो, वो आपके पीछे आने को स्टार्ट करते हैं. आपने उनका हट 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 कितना भी किया ना, वो 2 मिनट के लिए जाएंगे, वापस 2 मिनट के बाद तुम्हें फॉलो
No
करने को स्टार्ट
self-respect.
करेंगे.
No self-respect.
That is no self consciousness. They
Yes,
don't have
ma'am. That's
self.
what I say.
So if you are going to someone's place and someone insults you, you will never ever step even into the premises of that person's building ना. इसने मेरा इंसल्ट किया, मतलब बहुत गंदा वाला इंसल्ट भी नहीं, कुछ तो ऐसा वैसा बोल दिया है. यू आर सो सेल्फ कॉन्शियस, यू टेक इट ऑन योर हार्ट एंड योर ब्रेन. इसको अभी बराबर से दिखाऊंगी. एक रिवेंजस एटीट्यूड रहता है अपने में. Why
Ma'am,
is
the
that
responsive
revengeous
stimuli also comes in control there.
attitude? Exactly. So
मुंह
that
से
is,
कुछ निकल भी जाता है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, है ना. सो दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कॉन्शियसनेस बेटा. सेल्फ कॉन्शियसनेस. So there is a difference between consciousness and self consciousness. Consciousness is seen in all living organisms. ओके मतलब अगर आप पत्थर लेके मारने का सिर्फ एक्शन करते हो ना डॉग को, फिर भी वो ऐसे डर के मारे भाग जाएगा. लेकिन सेल्फ कॉन्शियसनेस नहीं होता है उनमें. सेल्फ कॉन्शियसनेस इज प्योरली अ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ all human beings, only human beings. So you're in your diet, you can, I mean, the photograph, you can see this particular thing very clearly. See here, this is what is your response to stimuli. Sunlight mil raha hai, ye flower was blooming and all. So that is one more. Then look over here. This is the the uh, box which contains dog food. Okay, this is the dibba which is containing dog food. When you just open it now, just the smell of it, and the dog has started salivating. See, you can see this. Opening a can of dog food stimulates dog's salivary gland. The stimulation came from outside the dog's body, which makes it an external stimuli. This stimuli is going to be your external stimuli. Okay, even if you touch the hot pan, of course, you're going to get the effect of burning, that is external stimuli. And look at this guy of your age. I guess this guy is almost of your age. Hai na? He's just peeping into the mirror and checking what's wrong. Nothing is wrong. But that peak of self consciousness is seen at this particular age. So he's just checking if anything is wrong on my face, if I'm looking good or not. है ना? And you have that much of sense also. You will not wear your night dresses and go for a party, or you will not sleep in your party wear. That much of sense we all have got. So that is self consciousness. Okay, dogs, cats, other animals that you observe, they don't have this. The dogs and cats will scratch their back and everywhere in front of anyone. Would you do that? Huh? Would you do that? You're in public and you started scratching yourself all over. Is it possible? It's impossible. You're so self-conscious about all these things. So self-consciousness only for human beings, consciousness for every living organism. I hope you all have understood the meaning of self-consciousness especially, and the word associated with self-consciousness is human. Okay? Samjha? So those are the four important points that we should know for living and non-living. Any difficulty with growth, reproduction, metabolism, response to stimuli. Anyone who is having any difficulty in this, come on, quickly, quickly. If no, then I'll ask you one question and I would expect you all to answer this question. Come on, tell me. Is there any doubt? Is there any difficulty? No doubts? We can move ahead. Okay. If there is, exactly. Where, yeah, that is what I wanted to tell, that pigeons, yeah, they know that even they'll get killed and still they come and sit in the middle of the road. I know that. अरे pigeons का तो I've seen pigeons dying in front of me. ऐसे मैं बैठी हुई इधर ऐसे आके मर गए, मेरे सामने मर गए वो. Because in my college, when I was in my 11th and 12th, वो time की बात कर रही हूँ. When I was in 11th and 12th at St. Xavier's, it's like the Britishers have built our colleges. वो time पे जो colleges बनी थी, St. Xavier's College, ये जो
Lovely
colleges
buildings.
है ना, हाँ, those are वो टाइम से वो ब्रिटिशर्स ने बनाए हुए कॉलेजेस है. तो व्हेन आई वाज इन कॉलेज आल्सो ना, इन 11th एंड 12th, दैट टाइम इट वाज अ ब्रिटिश मेड कॉलेज. अब ब्रिटिश मेड कॉलेज का इतना इंपॉर्टेंस कुछ नहीं है, बट यू नो व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग इट्स अ ब्रिटिश मेड कॉलेज, बिकॉज आवर कॉलेजेस वर लाइक थिएटर्स. जो अपने थिएटर्स होते हैं ना, वैसे हुआ करते थे. ऐसे ऊपर 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 ऐसे स्टेयरकेस के जैसे बेंचेस हुआ करते थे. अभी भी वैसे ही है. इवन इफ यू गो टुडे ना, you will see the same type of classrooms. So teacher used to be at the bottom in that semicircular वाला podium हुआ करता था टीचर्स के लिए. एंड ऐसे थिएटर्स के जैसे हमारे रूम्स हुआ करते थे. तो लेफ्ट साइड में ऊपर तक, ऐसे ऑलमोस्ट 12-15 रोज ऊपर, फिर सेंटर में, फिर राइट में, विद स्मॉल पैसेजेस टू वॉक थ्रू. अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल ओरिएंटेड एंड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्लासरूम. बहुत एकदम मतलब दैट टाइम यूज्ड टू फील सो गुड, लाइक वाओ. तो वहां पर है ना, वो जो फैंस हुआ करते थे ना, द फैंस यूज्ड टू बी लाइक very long because the ceiling was too high. The ceilings used to be too tall, and उतने tall ceilings से है ना लंबे लंबे fans हुआ करते थे, and we had open windows and open doors. तो विंडोज मतलब अभी तुम्हारे जैसे ये छोटे छोटे विंडोज नहीं हुआ करते थे बेटा, बहुत बड़े बड़े विंडोज हुआ करते थे, बहुत बड़े। एंड उसमें से है ना कभी कभी वो कांच टूट जाती थी, विंडो पेन की कांच टूट जाती थी, एंड देन pigeons used to come inside. Now that stupid pigeons, they know that the fan is moving at their full speed. hmm? फिर भी उधर आके सुसाइड करके जाते थे। तो वी यूज्ड टू सिट, हम लोग बेंच पे बैठे हैं पढ़ने के लिए, और ठप करके नीचे आके देखा, मतलब हमारे इधर ही बेंच के इधर उधर कहीं तो पड़ गए ये मर के। So it was a regular everyday phenomena, and so many pigeons died because of that. So many pigeons. So we used to keep the fan switched off only, नहीं तो हमें पता था कि नहीं तो एक दो तो ऐसे मौतें होते ही रहे। But during summers it was very bad. We had to put on the fans during summers. तो ये तो मतलब ये रोज का नाटक था, हमने almost every day देखा है ये। They don't have that much of thing also that भाई वो घूम रहा है at least, है ना, no self consciousness. Anyways, my question to all of you all is, if a person is in coma, then is that person having consciousness or not having consciousness? Well,
Not having.
not having. Then is he living or is he not living? अभी अभी हमने बोला ना, just now we said what we said just now. We said that
Ma'am,
living is consciousness is going to be the exclusive property of all the living organisms. So I just want to know that what is this, I mean, in this case.
ma'am,
Hmm.
a person in coma, like is conscious. Like he can listen, he can understand us. Most probably not the complex things, but he can see and understand on a on a lighter level. But he can't show because he doesn't have the ability to show. But he can take. Incoming is allowed, outgoing is not allowed. ऐसा है in coma people.
Yeah.
Also, their metabolism is going on because they have to be given like the glucose चढ़ रहा है उनको, so metabolism is going on. Also coma people are the like if somebody needs some kind of organ, and if the family of the person in coma for many years allows it, then the organ can be donated. So organ
Parnavi,
is living.
Manan, Vibha, Devang, Shravani, Sonali, Sia, you all are like, not Sia, up till Sonali, you all are very, 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 very correct. You all are correct. You all have answered the same, even Komal, even you are right, even whatever you said, the same thing they have typed. So very correct, beta, that they are conscious, but they are not in the capacity to show the consciousness. Okay, they do not have the capacity to respond to whatever like they are exposed to. They cannot respond to that. Very good, very good, in fact. Yeah, they are living, of course they are living. Their brain is working. Yes, they understand the things to some extent, of course, but they are not able to react to a particular thing. Okay, and very rightly said, who has answered this? I think Devang has answered this, and very nicely. Who has answered? I don't know. I just see. Uh, yeah, they are having consciousness and living. Yeah, Devang. See, uh, they like their pupils retract to light exactly. So like very nice. So these people who are in coma na, they only cannot react, respond. They don't have that capacity, but they do have the capacity to understand what is going on in their surroundings. Okay, so when I was in my second year medical project, okay, I had a project. You will be doing this project. आपको भी ये projects करने पड़ेंगे. So like that time, what used to happen? We used to have small projects. So we had to go to different hospitals. 15 days का जो अपना vacations होता है ना, तो वो time पे वो projects complete करने होते हैं. You have to actually go to hospitals, and you have to do this on site projects. So I was doing this project in अपना ये जो कैंसर सेंटर है अपना टाटा मेमोरियल का लोअर परेल में, उधर मेरा ये एक प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा था. आई हैड टेकन अप दैट पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक फॉर द प्रोजेक्ट, and I visited one particular patient, and that patient, she was in coma for almost 9 years. 9 years, it's a very long time, है ना? She was in coma for almost 9 years. And what happened was, like her husband, or I don't know, whoever was there in that particular room, he was, like so much frustrated with her state that he was saying कि यार मैं अभी थक गया हूँ, रोज रोज यही आके देखने का, ये तो ऐसी ही पड़ी रही है, इसको तो कुछ नहीं है. And like he used to say all blah 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 things. And then he said that why doesn't she die? It's better that if she dies, it will be better rather than just seeing her lie on the bed for so many years and all. And he, as a concern, I agree. You get frustrated with the same scenario every day, and you don't get the right type of results, you get frustrated. But the moment he said now that it will be better if she dies, literally you believe, like the tears that were coming down, rolling down her eyes, right? She couldn't react anything else, but she could just, like literally her eyes were, like completely full with water, and they were literally dropping down from the sides on the bed. So, of course, they are just not in the capacity to react or respond in other ways as normal persons can do. Fine. So, that is one of the best examples that will explain this. That is about the consciousness. Okay. So yeah, this is something that we need to know. Acha. And those people who are, like who meet with an accident, or who are, deliberately made unconscious, for them, it's a temporary state. They come back to normalcy eventually. है ना? Someone's mic is on.
Ma'am,
Huh. Komal, not yours.
can we?
Someone's mic is on. Just check whose mic is on. I think Siddhi. Siddhi, your mic is on, beta. Yeah. Yeah, Komal, tell me.
So I had a doubt, like these now we are talking about coma, the people who are in coma.
Hmm.
So can we say that their medulla oblongata and
Hmm.
their cerebellum,
Hmm.
they are working, but their cerebrum is not working
Not like that way. It's a synchronized
because
thing.
their
It's
heart is beating, their digestive system is
no, it's
perfect
nothing
and
like that
all.
way. It's a synchronized thing. It's a synchronized thing. When we'll talk about the nervous system, you will come to know about it. Okay?
Oh yeah,
How it
of
is
course.
controlled. How it is controlled.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. What are you asking, beta? What about complete paralysis? Complete paralysis is just going to be associated with your skeletal bones, skeletal muscles and bones. Okay, so it's more of a control lost physical mechanical movements they associated here, but understanding and verbal uh, communications are possible, though because of the stiffness the movement is restricted. Okay, but at least the physical expressions, your words, I mean the act of speaking and all is going to be there. The other, the actual movement restrict for it, but understanding is complete, and responses via your eyes, or via your if the person is capable of at least speaking something in the modulation in voice, that's going to be there. Okay. Yeah. Now, since we understood the difference between the living organisms and the non-living organisms, the next thing that we need to know is how many living organisms are there on this earth, how many are present. So now we are going to see the diversity in this living world. So what are the different diverse forms of this living world? How many are the living organisms that exist on this earth is something that we need to know. So the next topic or the subtopic under the living world is going to be diversity. How many are, how many different forms are going to be seen? So see, the word is called as biodiversity. The diverse forms of organisms present on the earth is going to be called as biodiversity. Second thing is, like when how many are there, I tell you. So look at this particular thing over here, which I've put up on the right. There are 1.7 to 1.8 million species existing on this earth. When I say species, please don't get confused between number of individuals. ये जो 130 करोड़ जनता जो इंडिया की है सिर्फ, है ना, 130 crores of people belonging to India, they all belong to the same species that is called as Homo sapiens. So all over the world, whatever number of human beings are present, that is equivalent to only one species. All the world, entire world में जितने भी human beings हैं, वो सारे के सारे, whatever the number it is, doesn't matter. They all belong to only one species, that is Homo sapiens. In that way, there are 1.7 to 1.8 million species that exist on Earth. Look at the diversity. And out of that 1.7 to 1.8 million, 1.2 million are animal species and around 0.5 to 0.6 are plant species. So 0.5 million species में one species is Mangifera indica. What is Mangifera indica? Mangifera indica क्या होता है? Do you all know?
Mango.
हाँ, मैंजीफेरा इंडिका इज मैंगो बच्चा. तो एक मैंगो है ना आपका, वो एक स्पीशीज है. अब मैंगो के जो बाकी के वैरायटीज है, वैरायटीज बहुत होते हैं ना. यू हैव गॉट अल्फांसो मैंगो, देन यू हैव गॉट केसर मैंगो, देन क्या रे और कौन से होते हैं, बादामी होता है कुछ तो, फिर एक क्या होता है, क्या क्या होते हैं, तुम लोग खाते हो ना मैंगो, कम ऑन. हापुस, हाँ, है ना. और कौन सा है, कौन सा है, और पायरी होता है, और कौन सा होता है, बताओ बताओ बताओ. हाँ, लंगड़ा, यस यस यस.
तोतापुरी.
तोतापुरी, यस. पायरी, तोतापुरी, देवगढ़ हापुस, यस यस. और कौन सा है, अरे बहुत सारे होते हैं. तुम लोग तो कितने सारे मैंगोज खाते हो यार, कम ऑन. मैं तुम लोग बोल रही हूँ बिकॉज आई हेट मैंगोज. हाँ,
Ma'am, you hate
इसीलिए
mango?
मैं तुम लोग बोल रही हूँ. या दैट्स द ओनली फ्रूट दैट आई हेट ऑन दिस वर्ल्ड. बाकी मुझे सारे फ्रूट्स अच्छे लगते हैं. मैंगो एंड बनाना, ये मेरे दो
How
दुश्मन है,
can you
बाकी
do
मुझे
this?
सब पसंद है. आई डोंट लाइक दैट फ्लेवर ओनली. वो मैंगो का फ्लेवर मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं जमता है. सो आई डोंट लाइक मैंगो आइसक्रीम, आई डोंट लाइक मैंगो सिरप, आई डोंट लाइक एनीथिंग ऑफ मैंगो. नॉट दैट मैंगो ओनली. नो, आई लव फ्रूट्स. आई एम अ लवर
Ma'am,
ऑफ
you eat
फ्रूट्स.
mango at
नो
least
नो नो
once or
नो
twice in a
नो,
year.
I never even touch it. I never even go near it. So that is the only fruit, like that and banana. These are the two which I'll never touch. So इसलिए मैं बोल रही हूँ तुम लोग मैंगो खाते हो. देखो मेरा सेंटेंसेस बहुत मैं संभाल के यूज करती हूँ. So you are going to tell me the names. That's why I said. So whatever varieties you all have told me na just now, they all belong to only one species. That is going to be what? Mangifera indica. Okay. And like that, there are zero point 0.5 to 0.6 million species of plants that exist on this earth. Okay. Now see, among the 1.2 million animal species, more than half of it are just insects. 0.75 million are
Yes,
only
ma'am,
insect
na
species.
arthropoda.
Out of
Arthropoda.
10, 7 are insects. देखिए, इसीलिए कभी कभी ऐसे होता है ना कि आपको कौन कब कैसा कौन सा इंसेक्ट काट के जाता है आपको समझता भी नहीं है. कुछ तो आया काट के चला गया, एंड देन यू गेट दैट इरिटेशन वाला फीलिंग, है ना, राइट. या सो सी, almost 0.75 million are your insect species, and others would then remaining 0.45 would be the other animal species, right. So this is the table that you ought to remember. You have to remember this table. The total number of species 1.7 to 1.8 million, out of which 1.2 are approximately animals, 0.5 are approximately plants. Of that 1.2 also 0.75 million are only insect species, and the others are going to be around 0.45. Okay. So any confusion in this particular chart wala thing? what you are saying बेटा? मैंगो के वजह से पिंपल्स भी आते हैं. इसलिए मैं तो खाती ही नहीं हूँ, तो कुछ सवाल ही नहीं है अपना. No, but you should eat seasonal fruits. Seasonal fruits are always good for your health. Always good. So you should eat fruits anyways, but seasonal fruits तो खाने ही है. अब ये बात अलग है कि कोई कोई चीजें नहीं पसंद आती है तो यू कांट हेल्प इट। आई मीन जैसे कि मेरा वो फ्लेवर नहीं जमता है मेरे साथ, goes wrong with me with the flavor of mangoes. Anyway, it's a different story, but you should. It's good for your health. Okay. So any confusion over here with the diversity के forms, biodiversity कितनी है वो समझ में आ जाता है। ये आपको चार्ट याद रखना है, ठीक है? ओके अब there's something कि इतने सारे species है, so many species are there. How did we come to know? Who went on counting? है या नहीं? Who went on counting? So yes, there are group of scientists called as taxonomists and systematists. देखिए ये दो वर्ड देखिए आप, एक है taxonomist, एक है systematist. ये जो दो group of scientists है, they actually go on counting that how many species are going to be existing or have been existed या फिर whatever it is. And the beauty, you know what? ये जो हमने figures अभी अभी देखे हैं ना, इसमें every year around 30,000 new species are added. 15 to 30,000 new species are added to this existing list every year by these group of scientists. So there are so many such scientists who are exclusively devoted to just find out the biodiversity on this earth. So, you know, there are scientists who have claimed that these are the known species. They propose that the unknowns are 5 times more than what we have found out. 5 times more is what they have proposed. And they're saying by the time we discover them, they might have got extinct also. So that is their way of, that is the way they want to speed up the process of, knowing the biodiversity. Okay. Yeah. So that is something like, do we really count it? So yes, we really counted by not 1, 2, 3, 4 wala format, but studying it completely and defining it completely, grouping it completely, naming it completely, and making a complete study of that new found organism. Let it be plant, let it be animal, let it be any group of plants, doesn't matter. Now, in this, we are not considering the bacterial world. If we consider the bacterial world, these numbers would be, very difficult to define them. So we are not counting the bacteria. We are just counting the plant species and the animal species. That's it.
So
Okay?
unicellular is not there in this.
Huh? What?
There are only multicellular
What are you
organisms.
saying? I didn't get you.
Only multicellular organisms.
That's also, we are not considering that. Okay. Yeah, Arya, you're right. If it's good for health, even I should have mangoes. I know. But in that case, then I'm, you know, not an obedient student for this particular clause. Anyways, okay. So as I said, that when we progress ahead with this particular content, the next thing is, like how do we count it? How do we systematically go ahead with this counting process? And how do we systematically have an approach towards this increasing or adding up to this 15,000 to 30,000 species every year? Okay. So there is a process. This process involves 4 steps. So we'll be talking about the 4 steps. So the 4 steps of understanding or adding to this 15,000 species per year is going to be something called as characterization. Okay. Second step is going to be identification. Third step is going to be nomenclature. And fourth step is going to be classification. So which are the 4 steps I told you? Characterization, identification, nomenclature, classification. Okay, don't worry, I've put them ahead. But just remember the 4 steps. What are those? Characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification. Now, first, characterization. To characterize. To characterize का मतलब क्या होता है, you know, that is to compare and come to a conclusion. So you have to compare the things. Okay. Now, for example, uh, the very first thing that I help you to understand what is this characterization is, if I make something in, you know, as something, I make something for eating. Okay. I say that I've made something for you all to eat today. I've brought something for you all. The first thing that you will ask me is, what you will ask me, is it spicy or is it sweet? Okay. So what are you comparing the new food item with? The previous knowledge, correct? You have got the previous knowledge. Okay. So what is the previous knowledge? That you know what is spicy and you know what is sweet. Unless and until you are not aware of the taste of spicy and you're not aware of the taste of sweet, would you be able to compare my new food item? So you should have what? You should have the knowledge of the particular
Taste.
comparable form. Okay. So to characterize is to compare. Compare what? Your new species with a known, previously known species. What does my species look like? Does my species look like a mango plant? For that, you should know how the mango plant looks like. Okay. Or is my species looking like a tulsi plant? For that, you should know that what is a tulsi plant like. है ना? So you should have a previous knowledge of something. या फिर your organism, does it resemble like an elephant or does it resemble like an ant? Okay. So your previous knowledge is very important. So that is called as characterization. So the first step is to compare these taxonomists and these systematists. What is a taxonomist and what is a systematic? I'll explain eventually, don't worry. But as of now, just understand, these people, when they come across a new species, the very first thing that they do is they follow this rule of characterization. That is, they'll first follow the comparison. They will try to compare the new organism with the previously known organism. I hope you all understood what is characterization. Okay. The second is identification. Now, once you have characterized, once you have compared, you can identify it is like a tulsi plant. So you know tulsi plant belongs to herbaceous plants. So what have you identified? You have identified that because it is like a tulsi plant, it's going to be a herbaceous plant. Got it? Or it is like a mango tree. You know mango tree is a dicot. You know that. Okay, so because it is resembling like that, probably it's a dicot. So you have identified. Got it? So first is comparison. Second is identification. That is, identify is to know, to understand, to come to a particular conclusion. The third thing is nomenclature. You have to name it. You go to any restaurant nowadays, okay, and you see their menu card, and that names would be, oh my god, they will be so, like made up names as if what they're going to serve you. And then when it comes to your table, you say, oh my god, this is nothing but what I make at home. But the names are mesmerizing. है ना? You have ever seen these restaurant का मेन्यू कार्ड पे अलग अलग टाइप के नेम्स देखे हैं आपने? एकदम भारी भारी नेम्स रखते हैं वो लोग. क्या क्या नाम रखते हैं वो लोग. And then you don't know actually what it is. So this is a fact. So नाम का रखना बहुत important है. See, I stay in Borivali. Okay. And in my area, there is a food outlet. It's a very famous food outlet in Borivali area. Those who are in Borivali, probably you might have gone there and you might have, uh, ate from that place also. There's a small, एक बंदा है. He's selling all the exotic chaat items. His name is Shriji. Okay, Shriji करके वो एक बंदा है. तो वो ऐसे ही.
Ma'am, people who don't live in Borivali also know Sriji.
Yeah, I mean, they come over there. People from which all places. He's going to have his ठेला at इधर एक पई नगर करके एरिया है, वहां पर उसका ठेला है. नाउ यू नो लाइक ही हैड ओन्ड अ स्मॉल प्लेस, एक ऐसा छोटा सा एक शॉप के जैसा उसने खोला था 2-3 years बैक. तो दैट टाइम आई वाज इन पेस, एंड पेस के बिल्कुल बाजू में ही उसने वो आउटलेट खोला था श्रीजी का, एंड श्रीजी's नेम इज वेरी फेमस इन बोरी. तो वी हैड बीन ओवर देयर ऑल फैकल्टीज, हम सारे फ्रेंड्स ऐसे ही टाइम पास के लिए कुछ खाते हैं करके गए थे. तो दैट टाइम उसके मेन्यू कार्ड पे है ना एक फुटबॉल करके आइटम था. व्हाट वाज द नेम ऑफ दैट फूड? फूड आइटम का नाम क्या था? फुटबॉल. ना वी वर लाइक यार ये फुटबॉल क्या है? आई मीन see, when you hear some different type of names ना, you get so much attracted to that. So we were like, भाई ये फुटबॉल क्या है? नहीं नहीं मैडम, आप खा के देखो, आप खा के देखो.
Curious.
हाँ you become curious. Yeah. So you know like वो फुटबॉल के लिए हम लोग बोले कि यार चलो ठीक है. तो we were like 5 of us. He saying मैडम 5 नहीं आते, एक प्लेट में 4 ही आएंगे. आपको चाहिए तो मैं 5 बना के देता हूँ. मैंने बोला भाई एक एक सबको पीस आ जाए, 5 बना के दे दो. यू नो व्हाट ही हैड मेड? वो जब आया ना फुटबॉल, तो वी वर लाइक एक्सपेक्टिंग समथिंग लाइक अ फुटबॉल, बिकॉज फुटबॉल का जो इमेजिनेशन होता है फुटबॉल, है ना. तो मैंने तो सबसे पहले पूछा कि भाई 5 मतलब वुड वी बी एबल टू ईट दैट मच? 5 फुटबॉल? नहीं नहीं नहीं, एक फुटबॉल में 4 फुटबॉल आते हैं. आई कुडंट गेट इट ओनली. ऐसे हमसे खाने को होगा? हाँ हाँ मैडम आराम से हो जाएगा. तो आई वाज लाइक देखो मैं इतना नहीं खाती हूँ, मेरे से ज्यादा नहीं खाया जाता. नहीं नहीं मैडम कुछ नहीं, इतना बड़ा नहीं है. एंड व्हेन ही गॉट इट ना, देयर वाज स्मॉल पकोड़ास मेड अप ऑफ कॉर्न एंड चीज. ओके. तो जो हम घर पे जो चीज कॉर्न बॉल्स बनाते हैं ना, समथिंग लाइक दैट. बट दैट नेम वाज लाइक यू नो you became so much interested in going ahead with to know, to you were so curious कि क्या है. and we were like oh my god, you would have told us ना it's your cheese corn balls करके. मैडम वो तो नाम पुराना हो गया, कौन लेगा फिर वो डिश. तो just the names, the names are very important.
Ma'am,
हाँ.
that's marketing strategy.
I know, of course. But the same goes for our bio also. This particular same thing is applicable over here also. Whatever 1.7 to 1.8 million species have been recognized, have been named also in the similar way. Huh. We find the naming system very irritating because it is not as mesmerizing as a football, right? So when I asked you all what is Manzifera indica, okay, only one answer came from your side, it is mango. So it's something like that way. So names say we should become curious rather than getting dejected, because you'll be very soon learning about the chapter of morphology, and in morphology of plants you will come across hundreds of different scientific names. तो नॉमेनक्लेचर समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके. तो इसीलिए एक्चुअली थर्ड स्टेप इज नॉमेनक्लेचर अकॉर्डिंग टू आवर पैटर्न. बट सबसे पहले डिफाइन होता है नॉमेनक्लेचर, सो दैट वो क्यूरियसनेस बढ़ जाए तुम में, और तुम कैरेक्टराइजेशन भी आराम से अच्छी तरह से पढ़ लो, क्लासिफिकेशन भी पढ़ लो. फोर्थ स्टेप इज क्लासिफिकेशन. क्लासिफिकेशन इज ग्रुपिंग. आपको ग्रुप करना है कि ये स्वीट डिश है या ये स्पाइसी है या whatever. Okay. So even when you go to a restaurant, or when you go to restaurants now, that time what will happen? You have got a menu card in which there is something called as soups, starters, salads, main course. वो सारा jumbled नहीं होता है. उधर भी classification होता है, grouping होता है. So when there is grouping done for understanding purpose, it's very good. It's very good. Okay. So even our entire naming system, your grouping system, your comparing system, your knowing or identifying system, together is going to be understood in this particular discussion. Okay. So why are we discussing this? इसके link समझो बेटा. आपके book में ना एक के पीछे एक they have just made up the stories and told you. But why it is like that way? So first thing is we came to know about the difference between living and non-living. Second thing is now we came to know about how many living species are present. And now the third thing that we have to know is that how these living species have been brought together into consideration. And if more 15,000 are added, 15 to 30,000 are added, how are they added? By which process? Okay. So we go ahead with the first, uh, process ka part, that is nomenclature, though it stands third in line. Fine. Next is nomenclature. It is a system of naming of organisms. There are millions of plants and animals in the world. Plants and animals are known in the local area by their local names, of course. है ना? These local names may vary from place to place, region to region, and country to country also. Yeah, that's very true, right? So it is impossible for any person to remember the names of an organism in all languages. It's really very impossible. Okay, for example, if I say that if I use one particular word which you might not be sure of. Acha. Can anyone tell me what is जनासू? GENASE. जनासू एक वेजिटेबल का नाम है. कोई बताएगा मुझे? ये लोकल नाम है. इट्स इन लोकल लैंग्वेज. जनासू.
Sweet potato.
हाँ हाँ.
Sweet potato.
You know it?
Yeah.
You are South Indian.
No.
Then
Yesterday I went for shopping and the vendor took.
okay, and there you got to know. See how lucky. See, Janasu is going to
Ma'am,
be something. Huh?
it's like Golgappa, Pani Puri, and Puchka. All of them are like the same thing, but three
Yeah,
different names.
exactly. All of them are the same, but the names are different. Exactly. So this Janasuna is going to be a South Indian, it's a Telugu language. May sweet potato is called as Janasu. Okay. Local English we call it as sweet potato. Hindi we call it as shakarkan. Marathi we call it as ratal. Gujarati we call it as ratalu. है ना? तो अलग अलग नाम होते हैं एक ही चीज के. नाउ इमेजिन यू गो टू यूएस एंड यू वांट टू डू अ रिसर्च ऑन दिस स्वीट पोटैटो एंड इफ यू से मुझे 1 किलो जनासू दे दो, क्या मिलेगा? कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. So the names have to be uniformly and universally accepted, and therefore there are something called as scientific names which have been come up now. So now all species have got scientific names, each and every one. Okay. So we have to know the reason for getting these scientific names. So see, there is a need for uniform system for nomenclature of the organisms, which is nothing but, huh? Do you know what is Joni? No, I don't know what is Joni. What is Joni? Eric Joni? No, I really don't. What is it? Indian sand boa. Okay, that's what exactly. So that is something with nomenclature. Then, yeah, let me just see if the rules have been put. Yeah, the rules have been. Then there is identification. That is, identification is the process of assigning or pre-existing taxon name to an individual organism. तो ये identify करते हैं और एक name उसको assign करते हैं. Okay. And there are two institutes now all over the world. That is ICBN and ICZN, which is into this naming ceremony. So International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature are the two. Okay. So what do you mean by ICBN और ICZN का full forms ना हमेशा आपके एग्जाम में आता ही रहता है. So international की जगह पे they'll change it to Indian. Okay. Instead of code they will change it to council. So be careful. Okay. It's International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Okay. That is ICBN and ICZN. Fine. Now अपने ये. Okay. ये एक्चुअली पिताजी है. ही इज कॉल्ड एज द फादर ऑफ बॉटनी, बट बहुत बूढ़े हैं ये. बट यू शुड नॉट फॉरगेट हिम. ओके. ही इज कार्लस लीनियस. ओके. Yeah, what is your doubt, beta? If we go to USA and say the scientific name for sweet potato, the guy will be still confused, or won't he? If you go to a research institute for doing a research and you say, give me Solanum tuberosum, he will give you only potato. Because if you're going for research, then the name is going to be applicable. If you go to the local market and ask, it's going to be an alien name for him. Okay. So here we are talking about the scientific approach. Fine. and therefore that particular scientist will never be confused with the scientific names. Well, so there was something called as you know, a naming system which was very, very difficult to understand, and that difficulty has been resolved by this person who is called as Carlos Linnaeus. So he introduced something called as binomial nomenclature. Earlier it was polynomial nomenclature. Poly means many, nomial means names. So earlier, you know, many names were given to one particular organism. So, you know, like even now, you might have heard about these things. एक बंदा है, उसको है ना 4 5 6 अलग अलग नाम लेकर उसको बुलाया जाता है.
Yes, ma'am.
बट पहले तो ये ना कंटिन्यूटी होती थी. Like you know, a long name used to be assigned for one particular species. And imagine remembering so long names for 1.7 to 1.8 million species. Next to impossible. Okay, so these polynomials were changed to trinomials. Trinomials are three names. But again, from trinomials, this particular Carlos Linnaeus said no need, name, surname is enough. So he brought down this binomial nomenclature. So bi means two. So two names का naming system आ गया है. Now it is universally accepted. Now everywhere this is your binomial system is going to be accepted universally. For any particular species, there's going to be a binomial name. Okay. So binomial nomenclature is a system of naming species by giving each a name composed of two components. That is generic name and species name. So name and surname जैसे मैंने बताया है ना, वैसे है ये. एक है generic name और एक है species name. Okay. Carlos Linnaeus invented the modern system of binomial nomenclature. He is Mr. Carlos Linnaeus, one of the greatest scientists, I should say. He has set some rules, and you know what happened when he was living? He followed these rules by default for naming any organism. But after his death, this ICBN and ICZN have made a set of rules for the new scientists. After his death, whoever scientist came up with this nomenclature studies, for them they have set up certain rules. And you should know each and every rule, because every year at least one question will be asked on the few rules which have been mentioned over here. Okay, so what are the rules for naming? What are the rules for naming any organism? Let it be animal, let it be a plant. What are the rules? First rule: the biological name is usually written in Latin word and is in the font of italics. So it should be of Latin origin. तो लैटिन लैंग्वेज के बुक में से ही उसका नेमिंग होना चाहिए. Now, why Latin? Why not English? Why not French? Why not Marathi? Why not Hindi? Why not Gujarati? हाँ, क्यों सिर्फ Latin ही क्यों होना चाहिए? Now this was a question that they had asked in 2015, that binomial names are usually written in Latin or are Latinized because now look at my options and try to give me this answer. Okay, I want your version. I want answer from you all, that why only Latin. So the option was Latin is one of the most ancient language. First option. Second option, Latin was the mother tongue of Carlos Linnaeus. Second option. Third option is Latin is a dead language. And the fourth option, Latin is an easy language. So what would be the answer to this? What would be the answer to this according to you? Okay, Viva is giving me one answer. Shravani is saying second option.
I guess Latin is the most ancient language, that's why.
Okay, even Manan is saying.
Ma'am,
Huh?
what is
Sneha,
meant by dead language?
I'll tell you, beta. I'll tell you.
It's not used anymore, I guess.
No, dead language का मतलब होता है you cannot change it grammatically. There is
Then
no
that's the
change in
correct
the
option.
grammar. Yeah. So when you come to know the like meaning of it, It's a dead language means there is no grammatical change that we can make. See, for example, the spelling of color. It is COLOR also and a COLOUR also. There are two versions of the same spelling, British and American, right? दो अलग अलग तरीके से हम उसको यूज करते हैं. कैरेक्टराइजेशन एस भी डाल सकते हैं, जेड भी डाल सकते हैं. तो ग्रामेटिकली जब हम कुछ चेंज कर सकते हैं ना, so that is not accepted. So it should be something which cannot be changed. उसमें कुछ spelling change नहीं हो सकता है, कुछ grammatical change नहीं हो सकते हैं. So of course, Latin is going to be a dead language, and that is the answer. But 99.9 percent of the students, they mark it's an ancient language, and few also mark that it was the mother tongue of Carlos Neve. Okay, so we have to be, very specific with these type of questions. If you're not sure, leave it. Okay, only if you're
And ma'am,
sure. Huh.
why only in italic font?
Italic font is going to be used to signify, like in that sleeping mode, to signify it is a scientific name. If it is not a scientific name, then it is written in Roman. Roman is this particular typing form. Okay, so if it is typed now, it has to be in italic font to convey or to project it that it's a scientific name. So it signifies it to be a scientific name. Okay.
But ma'am,
Huh.
when there is a scientific name of some organism or some kind of species written in our books, they like I read the textbook long back. That time I was reading this chapter. I realized that they write an L for that. Carlos ka surname was something L, na.
That is a rule that will come. That will come.
So that is there. So it's a scientific name. So
No,
I
no,
was
no. It's
wrong
not
with
like that.
the.
It's not like that. It need not have every time. You will not have L and all. You
Oh,
see any other books now, you will not find that. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So the first rule is going to be, it's going to be written in Latin and it's going to be typed in italic font. And if it is handwritten, now this thing is not mentioned on the slide, but please remember, if it is handwritten, it should be underlined separately. That means Mangifera indica are two words, right? Mangifera is to be separately underlined. Indica is to be separately underlined. So they have to be underlined separately. This is a thumb rule. And in your board exams, if you don't underline the scientific names while writing, you will lose half mark per scientific name. So this is for your boards. This is for your boards. When during your 12th standard board exams, whenever you will write the name of any organism, ensure that you're going to underline the word separately, because this is a thumb rule which they have explained in chapter 1 and you're supposed to follow it forever. So if you don't underline those particular names that you have written in your examinations, they will directly deduct your half mark per scientific name. So if you have written 10 species ke naam here and there in your entire paper and you forget to underline them, directly आपके 5 marks minus हो गए. So be careful with this rule. Okay. So it has to be in italics, it has to be typed in italic font, and when handwritten, it has to be underlined separately. Okay. No, when typed in italics, it does not require underlining. Only when handwritten, it requires underlining. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Scientific name usually contains two parts. First word is called as the genus, and the second word is called as the species or specific epithet. So Mangifera indica, ये दो words है. Mangifera is going to be the first word, which is going to represent the genus, and indica is the second word, which represents the species, or it's called as a specific epithet. The genus name will always begin with a capital letter. That's the thumb rule. So जब आप Mangifera indica लिखोगे, तो M will be in capital, I will be in small. Look over here. Example दिया है उन्होंने. Mangifera का M capital and indica का I small. Okay. So that is going to be your Mangifera indica, the way we have to write. Fine. Genus starts with a capital letter, while species name starts with a small letter. Biological name is printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin and underlined when it is handwritten. So the rule has been now explained over here. So ये है Mangifera indica, that is mango. Homo sapiens is human. Oryza sativa is rice. Triticum aestivum is wheat. You should know all these names now. Okay, you all are in 11th standard, and I'm expecting you all to learn all of them. Mangifera indica, Homo sapiens, Oryza sativa, and Triticum aestivum. These all are going to be your species which are mentioned in the book right now. Okay. Well, then the next rule: the name of the author, the name of the author comes after the name of the species, generally written in abbreviated form in Romans. That means what? The way you were saying just now, Komal, jo abhi, the L that is going to be written. Okay, that is what the name of the author. The name of the author means who? The one who has named it, the one who has found it. Okay, it is called as the name of the author. It is called as the name of the author. Okay, that is the one who is a scientist. So suppose it is Carlos Linnaeus, then it will be called as Linn, or it's called as Linnaeus. So here you will mention it as Linnaeus, that is Linn, or you will mention it as L alone. Okay. The name of the author comes after the name of the species, generally written in abbreviated form in Romans. So Mangifera indica L, but that L has to be in Roman. Roman means your normal font, not your sleeping form. Italics क्या होता है बेटा? Sleeping form होता है, slanting वाला. Roman is your standing form. So Mangifera indica का Mangifera and indica will be in italics. But जो Linnaeus का LINN है या only L है, it is going to be in your normal font. Okay. Binomial along with the name of the author is together referred to as your binomial epithet. So Mangifera indica L together will be called as binomial epithet. Okay. If the name of the species consists of two words, then the two words are joined by a hyphen. So there is something called as hibiscus rosa sinensis. So see, hibiscus rosa and sinensis. So there is a hyphen between rosa and sinensis. Okay. So this is again one more rule that you have to have a sinensis, I mean a hyphen in between if the words are going to be of two different joined together. Maximum and minimum number of alphabets in the genus and the species will range from 12 to 3 respectively. So genus ka naam should not be more than 12 and or less than 3. Similarly, it's going to be with the species not more than 12, less than 3. अब यहाँ पर है ना थोड़ा सा एक कहानी में ट्विस्ट है. Your GTB is saying something different and your NCRT is saying something different. According to the NCRT, it is between 12 to 3. And according to GTB, it is 13 to 3. So according to NCRT, it is 12. According to your government textbook, it is 13. तो ये थोड़ा सा चेंज है, ये नोट कर लेना. अगर आपके बोर्ड्स में ये पूछते, बोर्ड्स मतलब ये चैप्टर बोर्ड्स में नहीं पूछेंगे, बट कॉलेज में अगर पूछते हैं ना, तो यू विल हैव टू राइट 13 to 3. And if this question comes in NEET, because this is a syllabus for NEET, so if they ask you in NEET, then you will have to write 12 to 13. Okay. Maximum and minimum numbers 12 to 13. Principle of priority is followed. Principle of priority का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? That if I propose a name and if you propose a name, who is the first one to propose a name? उसका initials दिया जाएगा. So if I propose Mangifera indica and if Komal proposes Mangifera indica, but she proposes it for the first rather than me, उसने पहले propose किया, so it will be Mangifera indica K and not Mangifera indica A. Okay, for example बता रही, for example बता रही. Okay, so priority, principle of priority is going to be accepted. Okay, the first valid published name is accepted as a binomial and the rest are considered as synonyms. Okay, tautonyms, that is when the names of the genus and species are the same, they are not accepted by ICBN but they are accepted by ICZN. So tautonyms का मतलब क्या होता है? देखो, Malus Malus, same name repeated, not accepted. But Rattus Rattus is accepted. Malus Malus, Malus Malus was apple. So ICBN will not accept tautonyms. Rattus Rattus is rat, accepted in zoology. That is ICZN. Rattus is accepted. But what are tautonyms? Same genus name and same species name repeated is called as tautonym.
But ma'am,
Okay. Huh.
for ICBN, what do they do then? This malice
They
malice का
changed it.
क्या हुआ?
They changed it. They changed it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
They have to change it. So you see, boa boa. Boa boa is your king cobra. Boa boa is accepted. Then you've got gorilla gorilla. Accepted. Gorilla ka scientific name is gorilla gorilla. Both names same. Genus name as well as the species name. Both are the same. Accepted. Okay. But not in botany. So tautonyms are strictly a no. Homonyms, homonyms are illegitimate. That is, they are not accepted by anyone. ICBN भी नहीं accept करेगा, ICZN भी नहीं accept करेगा. See, that means a single name is given to two different organisms. That's wrong, na? Prunus dulci was a name given to
How will you
almond also.
differentiate?
Exactly. Is the name, it was the name given to almond also and plum also. Not accepted. So tautonyms and homonyms are strictly not accepted by both, by either of them. Tautonyms are accepted by ICZN, but homonyms not at all. Not at all. Okay. So these are the few rules of nomenclature that you should be sure with. Classification I won't start today. There are two rules which are not mentioned. Kindly make a note of them. I'll just dictate it to you all. Just write down. First point, that is the generic name or the genus name you can write down. The genus name is a noun. The genus name is a noun, while the species name is an adjective. What is a noun and what is an adjective? Grammatically, you know very well. So adjectives are those which are going to be describing words. So in Mangifera, indica, if you see, indica का मतलब क्या होता है? Indica का मतलब होता है origin from
Found in
India.
India.
Yeah, indigenous to India. Okay, so that is going to be your Mangifera indica. Take the example of whom shall we take one more example of? Uh, Ipomoea batatas. Ipomoea batatas is going to be your shakarkan, sweet potato. So Ipomoea batatas. Batatas means a stem tuber. Okay, a tuber. Tuber is called as batatas. So it is going to be accordingly. So each and every, you take any example henceforth, even if you take animals for example also now, you will come to the same conclusions. Okay.
Ma'am,
So, huh.
just like Homo sapiens. Homo and sapiens means brain, like
Yes.
with a big brain.
Develop brain.
Developed brain, yes.
Exactly. For each and every one. So what is the rule? The genus name is a noun and the species name is going to be an adjective. Okay. So this rule is not mentioned over here. So I wanted you all to note down this particular rule over here. Okay. So that's all with your nomenclature ka part. The rest of the chapter we will see it in the next class. That will be on Thursday. Okay. So hey Parnavi, what happened to you? You're writing something. I didn't get you. What are you trying to say? Huh? What have you written, Parnavi? I'm not getting you. What are you trying to tell me? Anyways, so we stop for today and we'll meet in the next class. Okay. Any doubts in whatever we have done till now? We completed till nomenclature. So any doubts till nomenclature? Nothing? Clear? Okay, sure. If it's done, good. See you all, beta. Have a nice day.